Hi, everyone. So during the times we find ourselves in, I've noticed that as small business owners, we are so wrapped up in the now that we seldom sit down and think about what happens to my business when we no longer are involved. And not only that, but how do we manage the relationship if there's more than one business owner or partner or shareholder? To help us unpack this topic, we are joined by my dear friend, former colleague, and a formidable company secretary, Michelle Bossenger. Michelle, thank you so very much for joining us. So can we jump straight into it? And can you explain to us what exactly is a shareholders agreement?
Okay, well, I could probably speak for days about a shareholders agreement, but I'll try and keep it short and sweet. But a shareholders agreement is exactly what it is. It's an agreement between the shareholders to manage the relationship between each other and their relationship with the company that they are the shareholders of. That's in essence. If you go one step further, and some people might say, well, what is the difference between an MOI and a shareholders agreement? Why do I need it? So your MOI is compulsory. You have to lodge that with SIB-C. But a shareholders agreement, in my mind, goes one step further. And it contains things that you wouldn't normally maybe put in an MOI. It just helps you that when you become a shareholder of a company, from the outset of that relationship, it sets out everything, what you can and can't do. If you're in a dispute, this is where you go. If the company wants funding, this is how it's going to be. Where this comes into play and where I've seen it happen, play out in real life is, the company might want funding and it goes to its shareholders. And the one shareholder can pay and the other one can't pay. Then how do you deal with the disproportionate funding by shareholders? Then you can already agree upfront, this is the interest rate, this is how you're going to pay it back. It just alleviates stress down the line if you know upfront how you're going to handle those type of situations.
So thanks for that. So following on that, why should business owners have a shareholder agreement?
Well, I've touched on it slightly already by giving those examples. But again, it just gives the shareholders clarity upfront of what they can and can't do and how things are going to play out should certain things happen. Another good example could be whether you're a shareholder in your personal capacity or as a juristic person. If a person passes away as the shareholder, what happens to your interest in that company? You can already set that out in the shareholders agreement. Or even just a disposal of shares. How would you manage that? How does that play out? If you don't have a shareholders agreement, it's not the end of the world. It just makes things longer to resolve because you'd have to go and defer to legislation. You need to probably get legal advice and just see what your options are. Whereas a shareholders agreement will spell it out upfront, and it just simplifies matters so much more.
So what I'm hearing from you is that a shareholders agreement isn't just important for you as a shareholder of a business, but also if you're investing into other shares of other companies, that it's quite beneficial to have one as well.
Exactly. But just to highlight as well, obviously not of a listed company. These are your more private companies. So it just protects your interests as well as a shareholder. As much as your MOI lists your rights, responsibilities, obligations, your shareholders agreement will take it, like I said, that one step further. And you can actually include in there, for example, material decisions reserved for the shareholders. So it's not that you're getting involved as a shareholder in the day-to-day activities of the company, but should it get to a point of the materiality level gets reached, that's where you would want to get involved. And those are the type of things you would then include in a shareholders agreement.
So, Michelle, thank you so very much for sharing your wisdom with us. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate you. I hope you guys found this very beneficial and useful. So thanks very much, Michelle. Keep well.
Thank you, Charmel.